So yesterday, OpenAI dropped GPT-5, their latest, fastest, and smartest model. Without getting carried away with all the hyped up benchmarks, I wanted to take it for a spin in a couple of end-to-end workflows and compare how they perform. First, we're going to use GPT-5 to generate a clone of myself as a sales rep and compare that to the output of the previous GPT versions. And second, we're going to test the analytical ability of GPT-5 against Grok-4 as a simple RAG customer support agent. So let's dive right in. So the first workflow that I'm going to test it on is a video generation model based on avatars using HeyGen with OpenAI as the video prompt agent as well as the email agent. So previously in my video, and I'll link it up here and down here, we've attached GPT-4.1 as the LLM that runs the video prompt agent as well as the email agent. Now here's the output of the previously generated video with GPT-4.1.
Hey, this is Mark from Purple Unicorn Marketing. Jake, I saw Breathe Pilates is looking to boost performance and content marketing. Let's unlock new growth together. Book a quick call with me using the link below. I came to chat and help your business.
As you can see, that was me before I got my haircut just a couple of weeks ago. And at the time, I was using GPT-4.1 and I thought the output was pretty good as it was. But let's replace GPT-4.1 now with GPT-5 and see what kind of output they will get. And for those of you who haven't connected any GPT models before in the past or created any AI agent, I've actually covered this in a separate video, so I'll link it up here and down here. But I'm just going to run this through very quickly on how you can do that, how you can connect GPT-5 to your end-to-end workflow. So in this case, what you want to do, I already have an account set up, but I'm going to create a new one just to show you guys how to do it. And you want to hit create credential, and you need an API key from OpenAI or OpenRouter or any platform that basically gives you access to OpenAI models, right? You want to go to platform.openai.com. And of course, again, you can go to OpenRouter as well. But in this case, I'm going to go here and I already have an account, but all you need to do is sign up, punch in your credentials, go through some onboarding questions. Okay, so I'm signed in now, and where I want to go is I'm going to go to dashboard, and on the left-hand side, I want to go to API keys. And essentially what you need to do is just to create a new secret key, and this, you can call it an end test key or whatever name you want it to be. You're going to hit create key, and there you go. That's your API key right there. You want to copy that, go back to your workflow, and essentially replace this. I'm going to toggle this to expression so you can see it, to the entire chunk of the API key here. Of course, I'm going to revoke this API key afterwards, but essentially you want to make sure that this is kept secret, right? And organization ID is optional, so you can leave it blank. I'm going to hit on save, and there you go. So green bar shows up, connection tested successfully, and then you can then choose your GPT models, whatever you want to use for this particular workflow here. So I'm going to change this to GPT-5 and select the model, and you got to scroll just almost all the way down for GPT-5, and you can select that. And that's on the selfie video prompt agent, which is really the agent that's coming up with the video prompt. The system prompt itself is a pre-written prompt, which is you're an effective video prompt agent for Purple Unicorn Marketing Agency, which is the fictitious agency that I'm pretending to be working at. And the trigger for the entire workflow is really an on-form submission, which is a form that ideally rests within a landing page or your website, just as an inbound funnel where people can fill up the information and you can start automating your outreach to that inbound lead, right? So the video prompt agent obviously creates a prompt for the video, pass it on to a HeyGen Post API, and that's where the video is going to get generated with the avatar. And then that all gets passed on to a email writer, which is also another OpenAI node, and then that gets sent over with the email. So I'm also going to change this. Previously, I used GPT 4.1 for this, and I'm just going to change this also to GPT-5 to see if we're getting a better email copy than the last time. So I already have a few data pinned here, but I'm just going to unpin all that so that we can rerun the workflow. Cool, I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to execute workflow. Here's the inbound form, which again, this can rest on your landing page or website. So I'm going to fill this in. So there you go. I'm just going to fill it up. Name Brian. The email address is actually my email address. Business URL is just some random business URL, which is a Pilates studio. And the biggest pain point I have is performance marketing. So let's see. I'm just going to hit submit. Okay, so it's generated the video and got the get result from the video that's generated. And that's passing it on to the OpenAI node. And finally, pass it on to the email node. So it took a little bit longer than GPT 4.1, especially noticeable when it comes to the email node here, just the way it's crafting it. So I'm curious to see what kind of email copies that it's coming up with, but also at the same time, of course, curious what kind of video that's generated. So here's the email that I received, which reads, "Hey, from Purple Unicorn Marketing Agency. Hey, Brian. Thanks for reaching out and sharing that performance marketing is the main pain point of Breathe Pilates. There seems to be a URL attached here for the business. And it seems to be the URL that I passed on to the form. And it says, I recorded a quick intro video for you with a few ideas of profitable field classes and trials. I'm going to click here to the video.
Hey, this is Jason from Purple Unicorn Marketing. Bob, I checked out Breathe Pilates, and I know performance marketing is a challenge. Let's fix that. Book a time on my Calendly, and let's boost your results.
So I think it's hallucinating a little bit. I think he just called me Bob instead of Brian. But overall, what I've noted is that it's a lot more nuanced than the previous one that I've generated. Because if you look at the previous ones that we made.
Hey, this is Mark from Purple Unicorn Marketing. Jake, I saw Breathe Pilates is looking to boost performance and content marketing. Let's unlock new growth together. Book it with me using the link below. Can't wait to chat and help your business thrive.
Yep. So it seems to provide a lot less information about the business and a lot less personalization as well. It's just going straight to, hey, book a meeting with me. Meanwhile, the other version kind of talks a little bit about the challenges of your business, both in the video as well as if you notice in the email. It talks about the few quick wins that we typically implement for studios like yours, tracking networks, GA4, Metapixel, all the marketing stuff. Higher intent campaigns, meta systems, really personalized to that particular business. As opposed to previously, the email that was put out was essentially just talking about the fact that performance marketing and content marketing was a problem. The HTML kind of stopped working here. But as you can see, it's not as nuanced and as tight as it could be. So personally, I do prefer the email copies that GPT-5 had put out. It does look like it has a lot more thoughts in it. The same for the video as well that was generated, other than the fact that it hallucinated the name. It is just going to be a lot more effective because it shows that we've done research into the business, which GPT-5 has done. Potentially that's why it was taking so long as it was running the workflow. So definitely GPT-5 is a much better alternative than GPT-4 in this case. And the second workflow that we're going to do a comparison test on, it's a simple customer support agent RAG workflow, which I've covered in my previous video, so I'll also link it up here and down here. Essentially, we were using Grok-4 as the brain behind the customer support agent that is attached to a simple Google Docs as part of the RAG system. Of course, you can replace this with Supabase or Pinecone Vector for a more sophisticated setup. But in this case, what I really want to try is to have two workflows side by side, just like this, so that's easier to see. So on the left-hand side, we have the Grok-4 customer support agent workflow, and on the right-hand side, the GPT-5 customer support agent workflow. Now, as these workflows are connected to two different Telegram accounts, we actually have two chats set up on Telegram just to chat with them. So the first one, which is the new bot N8N AWM, is really where we're testing our GPT-5 customer support agent. And I just didn't bother creating a new credential. This is something that I have existing for my demo, so I'm just going to use that. And the second one is obviously, as the name suggests, is the Grok-4 customer support agent. And basically the documents are the information that we preloaded to the RAG or the database, in this case, which is just a simple Google Sheet, is some refund policies and frequently asked questions for a business called Ali Sneakers. And it's just a sneaker shop, mainly talks about the refund policy and how to go about it. So I've published the two workflows, so it should be live in production right now. So I'm just going to say hi to the GPT-5 agent. So as you can see, it says, hi, how can I help you today? If you're asking about Ali Sneakers refund policy, I can pull up the latest details for you. All right, the reason for that is in the system prompt, we didn't actually do much. So if you pull this up, basically, it just says you're a helpful customer support assistant for Ali Sneakers. Use the Google Doc tool to check the latest refund policy, and it's connected to the Google Doc tool. It's the same thing, the same exact system prompt for the Grok-4 support agent. Okay, so that's why it's responding in this manner. In this case, I'm going to ask, I bought my shoes 31 days ago and would like a refund. So as you can see, GPT-5 does take a little bit more time than the previous versions of GPTs. And I tend to think that that's because it's taking its time to think through and reason through, or maybe even use the tools a couple of times, make sure that everything's correct. All right, so we're getting a response now. It says, thanks for reaching out. Our standard policy allows returns within 30 days of the delivery date, blah, blah, blah. Was it 31 days since the purchase and delivery? We count for delivery, 30 days of delivery. So as you can see in the exchange policy, it does say that the exchanges may be requested within 30 days of delivery if the item is defective. So it's getting really granular and trying to work out a solution for me as a customer, as it really analyzes the fact that it says since delivery. So maybe it's 31 days from purchase, but not from delivery. So it is actually going into word for word of the document and making sure that I'm able to find a solution if there is one. And then if it is truly above 31 days, it says I can submit a one-time exception review for a refund. And again, I don't think there is any specification in terms of an exception, but let me see. Yeah, I don't think there is, but it's, I suppose, trying to be a good customer support agent and making sure that I'm not too pissed off as a customer and trying to manage me in its own way, right? So I really appreciate that kind of response. It's also very systematic in terms of how it's trying to get information from me, the order number, delivery date, item condition, etc. So definitely superior in terms of what I've been seeing. But let's see how Grok-4 handles the exact same query, right? So I'm going to say, hi, welcome to Ali Sneakers customer support. How can I assist you today? Okay, great. So I'm just going to copy paste from here. I bought my shoes 31 days ago and would like a refund. Okay, so the same queries. So here's the response. I'm sorry to hear that you're looking to return your shoes. Let me check your refund policy to assist you properly. Based on our latest policy, refunds eligible for returns requested. 30 days on delivery date, providing the original packaging. This would unfortunately fall outside of a refund period. That said, I'll be happy to explain any possible exception alternatives, such as exchanges, So it's still trying to come up with a solution, but again, I feel that it falls short compared to what GPT has responded to me because it's not really going into the details of whether or not I purchased it 31 days ago or did I get the delivery 31 days ago, right? So in terms of just going through word for word and being super analytical about the document, Grok-4 unfortunately falls short here compared to GPT-5. And again, when you compare the responses, it's just a lot more structured. It's just a lot easier to read. And as a customer, I definitely would prefer chatting with GPT-5 than Grok-4. So just before we go, how does GPT-5 compare in terms of pricing and in terms of use when we're comparing it to other models like GPT 4.1 and o4? Well, as you can see, in terms of pricing, input is actually across the board, with the exception of o4 mini, is actually pretty affordable. It's $1.25 per 1 million tokens as opposed to $2 per 1 million tokens for GPT 4.1. It is slightly more expensive in terms of the output token, but overall, I think in terms of performance, it just really blows all the other models out of the water. And I definitely think it's going to be the go-to model for a lot of the use cases, from any prompt engineering use cases, business, commercial, sales, marketing, customer support, customer-facing use cases as well. And I know that barely just scratches the surface on what GPT-5 can potentially do, but I hope that gives you a glimpse as how GPT-5 compares with all the other GPT models in the OpenAI universe, but at the same time, how it compares to other models like Grok-4 in actual real-life use case. Let me know if you have thoughts, comments, or questions regarding GPT-5. I know it's a hot new thing now. And as always, if you like the content, please consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.